Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my class. Today it's time to read a very interesting story. And what's the name of this story? Have a look to the board. The Boy Judge. The Boy Judge. So, here we go with this story. Let's read it out and enjoy the story.
So, as you can see, this is chapter 9 The Boy Judge. With the name, you can understand this lesson is about giving a judgment. It means giving a decision or solution. So, here we go with the lesson. Over 1,000 years ago, in the reign of the famous Caliph Harun al Rashid, here you see reign, Reign. The pronunciation of this word would be reign. It means rule. In the rule of famous Caliph, Caliph, Caliph. Caliph means ruler in an Islamic state. It means in Islamic state, the ruler is known as Caliph. What was the name of this Caliph? Harun al Rashid. So this is a ruler's name, Harun al Rashid. There lived in Baghdad a merchant named Ali Kozia. And in the same state, in the same place, the name of that place is Baghdad. There was a merchant. The name of that merchant was Ali Kozia. Ali Kozia. Now, Ali Kozia is a merchant who lives in Baghdad. One day, Ali Kozia needed to travel on a long journey. So, Ali Kozia wanted to travel on a long journey. Who is this Ali Kozia? He is a merchant and he wanted to go for a long journey. So, what did he do? He packed up nearly all his household goods and rented out his home. The only thing left was to find a safe place to leave his private treasure, 1,000 pieces of gold. It means this merchant had 1,000 gold coins, gold pieces. Now, this thing he has to keep somewhere. So he was searching for a safe place so that he can keep his private treasure. What was the private treasure? That private treasure was 1,000 pieces of gold. So he put the gold into a large jar and covered the gold with olives. He took the jar to his friend Hussein. The name of his friend was Hussein, who was also a merchant. Ali told him to take care of it till he came back. Hussein promised that he would. Now, what Hussein says, have a look. Take the key to my warehouse and set your jar where you please. I promise you shall find it there when you return. What do we see here? This man, Ali, he put all his gold into a large jar and then he covered the gold with olives. Olives, they are the kinds of fruit. Actually, olives are fruits. We can also make different things are made from it, like olive oil. We say no, olive oil. Oil is also made from it. So olive is a fruit. So what does he do? He covers all the gold with olives. Okay, that is actually a fruit. And then he took that jar to his friend whose name is Hushan. And they both are merchants. So Ali told Hussein that to take care about it. Okay, Ali told him to take care of what? Of his large jar. According to the man Hussein, there are olives in it. But Ali knows that inside those olives there are gold. Now, what does his friend Hussein say? He says that take this key to my warehouse. What is the meaning of warehouse? Warehouse means storeroom. Okay, warehouse means storeroom. And he says that you just set your jar where you please. It means wherever you wish. And I promise you, you shall find it there when you return. So he is ready to take care of his big jar. Coming to the next line, Ali Kozia's journey took longer than expected. Hussain forgot all about the jar in his warehouse. One evening, however, Hussein's wife mentioned that she had not tasted olives for a long while. So, here what can we see? Ali Kozia's journey took longer than expected. It means it has been very long time that he hasn't returned. Now, Hussein, who is the friend of Ali Kozia, he forgot all about the jar in his warehouse. One evening, what happens when Hussein's wife he asked or he mentioned that she wanted to taste some olives from a long time she hasn't tasted. Then what does he say? He says, "You remind me of a jar of olives Ali Kozia left with me 7 years ago. Surely he must be dead by now. I'll fetch some olives from the warehouse." Now what does he say? He suddenly remembers about the jar that Ali has kept or left with him, and now it is 7 years, very long time. For 7 years, that big jar is with Hussein. Then he says that it is 7 years, such a long time. I think Ali Koja is dead and he will not come back. He thinks like that. So he thinks that maybe he is dead. I should take some olives from that jar from my warehouse. Hussein opened the jar. The olives were shriveled and covered in mold. You can see there are two words which is covered in yellow color. The first word is shriveled. The shriveled means dry and wrinkled, a kind of spoiled, you can understand. The olives were damaged or spoiled, not damaged, actually spoiled. As it is a fruit, after 7 years, how can you expect a fruit to be in good condition? So the olives were shriveled. It means they have become dry and covered in mold. Mold means a soft green or grey growth that develops on old food. What happens? It's a kind of what do I say, soft green color, something which develops when the fruit or anything becomes very, any vegetables or fruit becomes very old. So this was the condition of the olives. Those olives were not fit to eat. They were almost dead. It means almost rotten. Now he shook the jar to see if all the olives had gone bad. To his surprise, gold pieces tumbled out. It means he thought that let me check out the other olives if I can find some good olives inside. So as he shook the jar, he moved the jar, he tried to see the more olives which was there inside the jar. He was surprised. And you already know the reason. Why was he surprised? Because he saw that inside there were many gold coins. I mean, there were gold inside that olives. So he was very surprised. Hussein buried the gold in his garden. Then he filled up the jar with fresh olives and closed it as before. So this man is very clever. As he saw that there were gold inside, what did he do? He took all the gold out from that jar. He kept it in his garden. He buried it under the ground in his garden, and then he filled that jar with fresh olives and closed it as before. It means nobody can understand that someone has opened it. So he closed in the same way as it was closed. But he filled those jar with olives because his friend has said at that time when he has given this jar to him, he said that there are olives inside this jar and I want to keep it with you. So that's why he took all the gold coins. He was very greedy. He couldn't control his greed. He took took word won't be correct. He stole. The correct word would be stole. He stole all that gold and kept olives in that place. Now what happens? About a month later, Ali Kozia came back to Baghdad. He went to see Hussein and asked him for the jar of olives. My dear friend, I am very happy about your return. You will find your jar where you placed it. So he welcomes Hussein, welcomes his friend Ali, and he says that I am very happy about your return. And he also says that he will find the jar wherever he has placed it. So he says that you will find your jar where you placed it. Now Ali went into Hussein's warehouse and took the jar out. He was greatly surprised to find no gold in the jar. You already know that Ali has kept all the gold coins in that jar. But after 7 years and 1 month, when he comes back, he finds that that jar is filled with olives, not with the gold. My good friend, this is the jar that I placed in your warehouse. But I can't find the 1,000 pieces of gold that were in it. Friend, when you brought the jar, did I touch it? Now you demand 1,000 pieces of gold. How can you insult me so? So when the friend, Ali says that, yes, this is the jar that I gave you, but I can see there is no gold which I have kept inside it. It means my golds which I kept inside it are missing. Then what does Hussein reply? He says that, friend, when you brought this jar, I did not even touch. Did I touch it? You tell, did I touch it? Then how can you insult me like this? How can you demand for 1,000 pieces of gold? This is my insult. Who says this? This is said by Hussein, his friend. So as you can see, this story has come to an interesting place where Ali is worried about his gold coins, and when he asks his friend denies. He says lie. He says that I haven't even touched your jar. How can I know that? And what does he do? He says that you are insulting me. It means Hussein says this to his friend Ali, that how can you ask for 1,000 gold pieces? I don't know anything about it. Enough. I shall go to the judge. He will know who is honest, and the law will punish the other. This is said by Ali Kozia. Ali Kozia said that, okay, I shall go to the judge. It means judge is the person who decides about the crime happened. So here he says that he would go to the judge so that he can get justice. Then what does he reply? What does Hussein, his friend, he reply? He replies that, I don't mind. Let's see if the judge is foolish enough to believe your story. So here Hussein says that judge is not so foolish that he is going to believe your false story. So now the next line. When they both go to the judge, what happens there? The judge asks, did anyone see you put the gold in the jar? The judge asks this question to the merchant named Ali Kozia. Did anyone see you put the gold in the jar? Then Ali Kozia replies, no. Then he again asks, did anyone tell you there was gold in this jar? Did you open it? This question he asked to his friend, and the name of his friend was Hussein. He asked Hussein, did anyone tell you there was gold in this jar? Did you open it? But he says no. So these are the answers given by both of these friends, both of these merchant. He asked one question to each merchant and they answer in one word, that is no. Now let's see what happens next. How can this judge decide? Ali Kozia, there is nothing to prove that there was ever any gold in your jar. You are an old man. You don't remember what you did 7 years ago. So here the judge gives a direct decision. He says to Ali Kozia that there is nothing to prove that there was ever any gold coin. So you have become very old and your memory has become very less. That's why you don't remember where have you kept your gold coins and you are saying that it was in this jar. There is nothing to prove. You have become old, so you don't remember anything properly. So Ali was angry at Judge's words. He wrote a letter to the Caliph and gave it to one of Caliph's helpers. The story spread all through Baghdad. So, when the Caliph got the letter, he read it with care. As I said, Caliph is a person, actually, he is a ruler in a Muslim state. So, he is a powerful person, he can give actually the correct decision. So, what did Ali do? He asked help from Caliph so that he can get proper justice. And slowly what happened, this story of these two friends, it spread. It means everybody came to know about these two friends and the gold coins were missing. So this story has become very famous in the whole Baghdad. When he received this letter, Caliph, he read this letter very carefully. Now he is the person who can solve Ali's problem, because the judge who was the judge before, he couldn't solve his problem, even he didn't try for it. He directly gave his judgment. So now Ali was very hopeful that this Caliph may help him. That evening the Caliph disguised himself and went through the town with his grand vizier. Now you see there is a word disguised. Disguised means here hide one's identity. So what did he do? He took some other, he dressed up in some other way so that people won't identify who is he. And he took his vizier. Who is this vizier? Vizier is the advisor. It means the advisor of Caliph. Caliph and his advisor, both of them went through the town and they dressed up in a different way so that people won't understand who these people are. Now what happened? He saw 10 or 12 children playing by moonlight. When he was in his round, he came to a gateway through which he saw that 10 or 12 children were playing by the moonlight. Let's play courtroom with Ali Kozia and Hussain. These boys were playing about courtroom. As I told you, the story has become very famous. People have come to know about Ali Kozia and Hussain. So, they started playing courtroom there. Now, as the game went on, the Caliph listened more and more carefully. The boy playing judge was asking good questions. So here, when the Caliph and his advisor, it means vizier, they saw these boys playing courtroom, they stopped and they started watching them. What did they see there? The courtroom was going on where Ali and Hussain, actually they were not Ali and Hussain, some boys were playing their character and one of them has become judge. So that boy judge was asking very good questions from the both the friends, I mean from both the people, those who were standing there. So this boy was asking many good questions about this matter of gold coins. Now Caliph said to his advisor, to his vizier, speak to this boy, tell him to come to the palace tomorrow morning. I also want to see the judge, Ali Kozia Hussain, and two olive merchants. Ask Ali Kozia to bring the jar of olives. So here you see Caliph says to his advisor that tell this boy, who is this boy? One who is playing the character of judge. 12 boys are playing together, I said, and one of them have become judge. So that boy and those two friends, Ali Kozia Hussain and two olive merchants, and along with all the judge, the previous judge, the actual judge who gave decision, who said that there is nothing to prove, you have become old, that person, that judge. So everything should be present on the palace tomorrow, and you must say to Ali Kozia to bring the jar of olives. Now, the next day in court. Last night I heard you, boy. Judge these two men in the play today. You are going to do it for real. So, here Caliph, as he saw the boy playing the role of a judge, and he is impressed with that boy, and he says that this is a real one, and you also have to play the role of a judge in this incident. So, here you go with the judge. It means I am making you judge for this matter now, and it's a real one. And you, judge, listen to this child. This Caliph says to that judge who has given wrong decision, learn how to tell truth from untruth, right from wrong, and good people from thieves. So he says these words to the judge who couldn't give correct decision. He says that you should learn how to give judgment from this small kid, from this child. Now you see how to tell truth from untruth, and right from wrong, truth from untruth, right from wrong, and good people from thieves. So you must learn all these things from this kid. Although he was afraid of the people around him, the boy spoke clearly. Bring me the jar. Hussain, is this the jar Ali gave you? Yes. Ali, is this the jar you gave your friend? Yes. So he asked the same question from both of them. He tells them to identify the jar, whether it is the same one or not, and both of them agrees. They say that both of them agree, and they say that yes, this is the jar. Now the boy took out some olives and gave some to the Caliph. He gave some to Ali and Hussain. Then he ate one himself. So what does the boy do now? He took out some olives and then he gave some to Caliph to eat that. Then he gave some to Ali and Hussain also to taste it, and one he ate himself. These are very good olives. Did you eat any one of them before today? So here you see, what do they say, that these are the very good olives. It was very tasty, and then he asked, did you eat any one of them before? Then the boy replies, not one. Merchants, you must try these olives. They're very good, though 7 years old. So the boy says that you must try these olives. He offers these olives to the merchants, and he says that it is so good and so yummy even after 7 years. because these olives have become 7 years. It is from 7 years in this jar in the warehouse of Hussein, but still these olives are so good. So you must try these tasty and good olives. 7 years old? They can't be. These are this year's olives. No olive is any good after 3 years. They lose their color in just 2 years. Yet Hussein says that they have been in the jar for 7 years. Now you see these two merchants, they are saying that it is not possible because olives are the fruits, and after 3 years you cannot eat them, and after 2 years only it starts leaving its color, it becomes discolor, and these good olives cannot be so old. These olives are of these years only. So this is not, it is not at all possible that these are 7 years old. Not possible. These olives are of this year. Yet Hussein says that they have been in the jar for 7 years. So this is said by the boy judge, that you are saying that it is not possible because after 2 or 3 years the olives will be spoiled. You cannot eat them. It will leave its color and it won't be tasty anymore. It will become dry. But this man Hussein says that these good olives or the tasty olives are 7 years old and they have been in the jar for 7 years. This is said by the boy judge. Now Hussein's face grew red with shame. I took the gold. It's buried in my garden. You know how the law punishes thieves. So here you see Hussein, he agrees that he was shameful. He understood that they all have caught him. There is no way to go because all have come to know the truth. They all know that these olives are fresh and these olives cannot be kept for 7 years in the jar. Now he is caught. So he says at last, yes, I took the gold, it is buried in my garden. Then Caliph got angry and he says that, you know how the law punishes thieves. It means those who steal others' things. There are some rules, some laws, there are some punishment for the thieves. Oh, Caliph, don't cut off his hand. He was once a good friend to me. Let him go with a beating. Then Ali says immediately that please don't cut off his hand. So, what is the punishment in that state? The thieves, those who steal other things, their hands are cut off for forever. But Ali, he requests, he says that please don't cut his hand, just give a beating and let him go because he is a good friend to me. Once upon a time we were good friends. Now the Caliph agreed with the decision, so Hussein saved his hand but lost his good name. Ali lost his friend but got back his gold. A beating would be enough. The boy judge also says that beating would be enough. So they did not cut his hand, but they gave beating as a punishment. Now the boy judge was sent by the Caliph to study law. And he says that after all, 20 jars of gold can't buy a good judge. So why does he say that? After all, 20 jars of gold can't buy a good judge. It means you understand with this line that the judge at the previous time, it means one who gave the wrong decision, the wrong judgment, was given some amount, some gold coins by Hussein so that he would give judgment in his favor, and he would say that Ali has become old and he doesn't remember about his things where he has kept. So whatever decision was given by the previous judge, actually he has taken some bribe, and everything he said according to Hussein's wish. He took some money, some amount, or some gold coins. That's why he gave decision in favor of Hussein and not in favor of Ali, which was understood by the Caliph. That's why he says that you should learn something from this small boy, from this small kid. He Nothing can buy him. He has a pure heart and nothing can buy him. It means not even the gold coins. So he gave a good decision. He also make everyone realize that the the merchant named Hussein was the real culprit. So, as you can see, one who does something wrong is always punished. He may speak some lies or he denies, but one day or some other day he will be caught, and that is final.
I hope you have understood the story, and I enjoyed the story. I don't know about you. So, if you have enjoyed this story, then you can answer to any question related to this story. So, it was fun reading this story, and hopefully in the next videos also we get such type of entertaining stories to read, because I love reading such type of stories. So we'll meet you again in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day.